I'm Cliff, and this is Life with MS. So, what is MS? Now, I could show you a very, very nerdy corporate video. Multiple sclerosis, or MS, is a. Instead, I'm going to tell you what MS is from a patient perspective. How do I know? Well, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2018 after a 10-year journey to find a diagnosis. It has been quite a journey. I will say that most people that have this disease would tell a similar story. It isn't hopeless, but it isn't easy. So if you think you're going to get a diagnosis, or if you just got a diagnosis, you're in a good place, because I'm going to tell you what MS is for an MS patient. What is multiple sclerosis? MS is fatigue. Sometimes the fatigue can be just mildly annoying, and sometimes it can be darn right catastrophic. It can be like the worst fatigue someone has ever felt. It can be like trying to walk up a mountain backwards carrying 5 bricks of concrete. The problem is it can be a little unpredictable, but as you learn more about your MS specific to you, you might narrow down what's actually causing your fatigue. For me, it's stress.
MS is fake news from China.
And heat. So I'm talking about physical stress, mental stress, and heat. Some people, it's cold. Cold affects them. Some other things that can affect it are diet, lack of sleep, or nothing at all. Sometimes it's just kind of random that way. And so trying to find the source of it on those days when you can't seem to put anything together can be incredibly frustrating. And one of the things about living with MS is trying to remember not to overthink things, because it is a very tricky disease. So fatigue, like I said, is different in everybody. How do I resolve it? Some days I just can't win with it. Other days I have to lay down and take like little 30-minute power rests, not necessarily sleeping or napping, but just resting. And I also have some pharmaceuticals that help with it. But there are days that nothing helps with it, and I just have to take it easy. And that takes quite a life adjustment to get to that mentality to go, okay, I'm not winning today, so I'm just going to have to take it easy. All right, second, what is MS? Well, MS is feeling unstable, uncoordinated, and unbalanced. And this is a very common symptom. It's really about just constantly feeling like you're just a little bit out of control, and that's very uncomfortable. And it's also extremely fatiguing, because it takes a lot of energy to constantly correct your physical motions. What can cause these things? Well, again, it's MS. It's different for everybody, but for me, it's heat, cold, stress, diet. So balance and feeling stable is on the list. So what is MS? Vision problems. It's seeing floaters. It's losing vision in one eye or both eyes, going cross-eyed, seeing double, and blurry vision. I have these glasses that I've gotten because my vision has gotten very blurry, and that's probably to do with age, but it also has a lot to do with one of my very first symptoms, which was my optic neuritis, which was seeing all kinds of floaters in this eye over here. This eye is noticeably more dim than this eye most of the time. And on my really, really stressful days, I lose a lot of vision in this eye. And then these weird ghosting figures come out and kind of just float around. It does resolve, but I do have friends where it's one of their first symptoms and it never resolves. So it's really important that if you're seeing those kind of issues, it's time to go see somebody and get some help, because you can actually intervene and stop the damage in its tracks. What can cause it? Again, different for everybody. For me, it's heat and stress. I know I'm way too stressed out when my vision starts to go out, and then I really have to back off. So what is MS? Well, it's experiencing tingling and numbness in the extremities and in the face. Where else do I have it? In my fingers and my toes. And sometimes my body can be burning up and my feet feel like they're freezing. And then sometimes I have no sensation in those extremities at all, which can be totally weird. What causes it? Well, you probably guessed. For me, it's stress and environmental situations and diet. If I am not getting a good diet, and if I'm eating junk food or processed food, the next day I'm going to pay for it, and it's going to be in a neurological way. So what is MS? Well, it's memory and cognitive issues. For me personally, it was one of my very first symptoms I noticed, and the only way I caught it is I started recording my conversations with people that I knew at the time, that I was working with, who would say, oh, I told you this, this, and that, and this, and that. And I was like, I'm not sure you did. And I would go back and listen to those recordings. Sure enough, they did. What causes that? Well, if you're speaking anatomically, it's actual damage to the brain. But from an MS perspective, what basically pushes that forward for me is, well, you guessed it, stress. Also, heat can do it. Poor diet. So you see a common theme here. There's a combination of all kinds of different things that can affect my symptoms. Now, they're not going to be the same for everybody, but I'll bet that there are people in the community here that can really add to this conversation by just commenting on what causes their issues. And here's the last big one I want to talk in. What is MS? MS is constipation and incontinence. Yes, another one of my favorite ones. This is just fantastic. There's nothing better than feeling like you're carrying around a bowling ball in your gut or peeing your pants. Now, again, this can be triggered by diet, but for me, it's triggered by heat and stress. Go figure. There we go again. And is there any way to resolve it? Reduce the heat, reduce the stress. And also, I have found, at least for the constipation, the number one thing is pineapple, fresh pineapple. I'm not talking about canned pineapple. I'm talking about gourd pineapple that's still got the little thing on the top and you cut it up and you eat it. Oh my gosh, that stuff brings relief so fast. It can go from being like backed up for days to basically having a BM within an hour, and I'm pretty much normal again. So it has a great anti-inflammatory property to it, and this is no secret for people that eat lots of pineapple. At the same time, it can be very acidic, and it can also have a lot of sugar in it, so you got to be careful about that. However, it works for me. I'm not saying it's going to work for you. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a healthcare provider. I'm just a patient with MS, and this is my experience. So other common symptoms are things like dizziness and vertigo. Yeah, that's pretty normal. Speech problems, that plagues me all the time, especially under high stress. It sounds like I don't even speak English. It's crazy. Swallowing difficulties, choking, I get that a lot. On hot days, I have to be very careful when I eat because I can choke on food really easily because the muscles don't work right. Sexual dysfunction, that affects a lot of people. That's a super fun one, but there are medications for that. Emotional changes and depression, yes, absolutely. I mean, with a disease of this caliber, it can be darn right depressing sometimes. And so if you're struggling with this disease and you're struggling with depression, please, 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 please get help. It's out there. There are ways to limit it. Believe me, I was in the depths of hell when I was diagnosed. It was awful. And I think a lot of us go through this. Please reach out to someone and get help. The severity of these symptoms can vary greatly from person to person. And I'm just reading some notes I put down here. And finding and getting a diagnosis is super challenging and expensive here in the United States and very time consuming. I recommend getting 3 opinions about your potential diagnosis from 3 MS qualified neurologists, not just general neurology, though there are some general neurologists that do really well at treating multiple sclerosis. But the ones that specialize in treating patients with multiple sclerosis really know most of the time the latest and greatest therapies and things out there to treat patient with multiple sclerosis. I hope this video helped you understand what you were looking for. If you're newly diagnosed and scared out of your mind, this is totally normal. The MS community is very strong and we are very active. We are here for you. You are not alone. I have linked some resources in the description below. They're vetted and trusted by me and others, and they have good factual information. They're great places to find that information. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe. I update a lot, and I also bring other people from the community on the channel to talk about their journey, which is always super fun. And smash that like and share so that we can get up there and not be buried in the depths of hell of the YouTube algorithm. I appreciate you all. I'm Cliff. This is Life with MS, and until next time, we're out.